I got to get a song, dude. I keep forgetting to get a song. I need an intro song. But if you're listening, just imagine there was an intro song. And I keep saying this, but by next episode, we're going to have some type of musical introduction. Maybe. But either way, welcome back to Division 1 Rejects. This is episode 84. Recording this on the pristine night of January 23rd. Just me and Trev tonight.
Yep.
Trevor, what's going on, man?
Not much, man.
Bumped.
Glad to be here, as always.
Had a good talk with Arthur Cox out of UW Stout. I think that's the first. It's the WIAC. I keep saying WIAC, and then he said WIAC. He didn't correct me, which was polite of him, but I definitely was butchering the name of the conference.
I wouldn't know.
Tough look for me. Tough look for me there. But either way, great talk with him. I think that's our first representation from the WIAC, like I said. Just incredibly strong Division III conference. Probably like the best in the country.
I would say the best in the country. I mean, it helps them a lot with geographically. There's no D2 football in
the state. Yeah.
In the state.
You're either going to Madison or you're going to D3, one of the D3 schools.
Yeah, it helps them tremendously.
Midwest football, man, slept on like crazy. Midwest football is just of a different caliber. So, anyways, talk to Arthur later. But before we get to Arthur, we're going to talk to Jack Gilchrist. If you've been listening to the pod for a while, you know Jack. He's our guy over at GV. And we talked to him all about Wooster. Scott Wooster's taking over the job at GVSU after Matt Mitchell. It's been announced that he is moving on to Wisconsin. And he'll be taking the special teams coordinator role up there as well as coaching the outside linebackers. So, big move for the former D2 head coach, Wooster, filling in. And I will say, I did call that on our last pod, that Wooster should be the front runner and would probably get the job.
You didn't say that.
Cut that to the wrong camera. But boys were a little skeptical. Of that take. Just glad, not here to say I told you so, but just a reminder of the previous take. Anyways, we'll talk to him all about the new coach over at Grand Valley, and then we're going to get into the NFL, the divisional round recap and reactions from this weekend's slate of games, and some awesome Cowboy fan reactions because we know they're just the most humble and loving fans on the planet.
For sure.
Over under on number of TVs broken in that segment.
Wow. Probably at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's not a bad guess. But moving on to the college football side of things, I'm really excited to talk about this one today. We got a guest from D3 football today on, and today we're going to be talking about the, quote, the biggest little game in the nation. That is Ithaca versus Cortland, or University of New York at Cortland, and the Cortaca Jug rivalry. See what they did there? Ithaca and Cortland. It is Cortaca. They put it together. Creative. So very creative masterminds. That rivalry started back in like 59 or something crazy. But we're going to dive into that rivalry because I was there in 2019 where those two schools played in MetLife Stadium. They set the Division III record for attendance with over 45,000 fucking people in that thing. Crazy.
It is crazy.
It's so crazy. 45,000?
That's more than a lot of like D1 schools, like group of 5 attendance. Like,
unreal.
It's way more than
they played in MetLife in 2019. This past year, both the teams were 9-0. They played in Yankee Stadium.
Really?
Yankee Stadium.
That's sweet.
Awesome. So we're going to take a look at videos and pictures from both of those, so definitely stick around for that. But as always, you can watch this episode on YouTube. Don't forget about the timestamps. If you want to go right to Jack's conversation, you want to go right ahead and listen to Arthur, use that little red bar on the bottom of the screen on YouTube and just drag it all the way forward, and then get the hell out of here, or maybe bounce around, listen to a little bit of everything. You know, get your palate, get your taste palette all over the place, man. Get a little bit of everything today. But you can listen pretty much anywhere, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. Follow us on Twitter. Just hit 600 followers at D1_Rejects and Instagram Division 1 Rejects for more of Raspy Kobe. I'm not sure where my voice is gone, but we're going to deal with it anyways. Before we get into all that stuff, let's head over to Allendale, where they're welcoming the new head coach, Scott Wooster, with our man, Jack Gilchrist. First up on this episode, we've got our man from Allendale, where they just announced the newest head coach for the Lakers. It's Jack Gilchrist. Jack, pumped to have you back on, man.
Yeah, it's good to be back, man.
Great time to be a Laker, huh? It's been quick, dude. Like just within a week, basically, all that news came out.
Yeah, it's good. Like, they obviously want to make sure they make the right choice, but in terms of recruiting and getting guys on board with who you got, it's good to be swift with it, with the decisions.
Oh, 100%. And we went through that too because our process was just pretty drawn out. And, like I told you, I helped on that search committee, and there was multiple times where we need to get this thing rolling because you have signing day rolling up, you have recruits that are figuring out where they need to go. So that is huge. But it gets announced that Mitchell's leaving on the 15th. we get word that Wooster is taking over just 6 days later. What was that time in between like, and how much did you guys know? Because I remember you and I were texting back and forth, and by the time I read it, what you were kind of texting me, it was already on my Twitter feed for some blue checks talking about Mitchell doing this, doing that, some like insider type stuff.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. That
was
like that was released like before I even like knew for a fact what was happening when I looked at like the time it was posted. But yeah.
I mean, like, that's what a lot of people are trying to, it seems like it's more and more prevalent as dudes just find out on social media. And I think, like, sometimes, too, you look at, like, pro guys. Could you imagine finding out, like, you got traded or you're getting cut by, like, a tweet?
Yeah, no, you like hear about all those stories from like that's how a lot of the pro guys like you'll hear them tell a story about that's how they figure out they were getting traded or caught and stuff like that. It's wild.
It is nuts. Now, he's heading over to Wisconsin, which supposedly with the coordinator title, big move for Mitchell, but honestly for me and for us, I don't know how you guys feel, still a pretty surprising move for him with his tenure there. And is that how you guys felt too? Or are you kind of expecting a move? I don't imagine you would be.
No, we weren't. And it's kind of like you feel like you're going to have him forever for your time here. And, in terms of like consistency, that would have been nice. But it is what it is. I don't blame him. He did the right thing for his family and for himself in terms of moving up.
Yeah.
And, it is what it is. We're moving forward here. So, yeah.
I'm going to say you guys have the luxury of, like, thankfully your program is in a solid spot. Obviously, you got aspirations to do a lot of bigger things. Like, you guys want to hoist that national championship. But I got to imagine that, operations are still going to run smoothly. Now, the stat that was wild about him leaving, too, he had 117 wins at Grand Valley, one game less than Brian Kelly's record at 118, dude.
Yeah. No,
Nuts.
that's wild. Maybe if he I'm not sure. I doubt he looked at that, but
oh no, 100% not. But still,
because maybe if he did, he would have stayed or got more wind of time and whatnot.
You would have stuck it out, huh?
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe you would have thought about it more.
No, the fact that it was a game short was just ridiculous. Like, that coincidence is crazy. But we saw the player reaction from you guys in that room when they announced and they told you that Wooster was going to be the guy. I feel like for me and for a lot of us, that's the most telling thing is you guys were just fucking pumped. Like, you were ready to go. I feel like that's, like I said, that's the most telling thing. What was that like? The guys obviously excited that Wooster's going to be at the helm.
Yeah, he was who all of us wanted, like me included, and every other guy in this program that I know of wanted him to be the guy. And it's good that it turned out that way. Our athletic director, Kerry Becker, did a good job. And like I said, in terms of making it quick, and it's just awesome that it was him. So it's pretty confidential. Like I said, like you were on the search committee, like none of us were. Our athletic director did a good job of like updating us with who, just kind of like where we were at in the process, and the coming down to the final swing of things. But yeah, no, it was kind of I don't know if I told you this, but it kind of like was similar to like the Marcus Freeman hire at Notre Dame. Like
that's literally the next thing I was going to talk about, dude, is like the reaction. That's the first thing I thought of was Freeman coming into the room. The guys just pumped.
Yeah, like it's the same thing. They wanted him as their like internal hire. We wanted Wooster. Like it's very similar deal. So
he's been there for 3 years now, correct? And part of that offensive line, obviously the run game coordinator. What is his? And again, we've already seen like it speaks volumes how the guys reacted. But what is his relationship like with the guys, and what makes him the right guy to to lead you guys moving forward?
Well, first of all, he's an elite position coach, and he was the run game coordinator on top of being the offensive line coach, and like he's the lead of his craft, which was being the offensive line coach, and he got our guys right. I mean, we have talent, but he was. I see it firsthand because I face him every day, and I face the offensive line every day, and he got here. I believe it was summer of 2020 or maybe spring or like a little bit it was right before I got there, and you were getting to college like the same time, so like that 2020 fall. So he's been here maybe a little bit longer than me, but yeah, no, he's excellent, man. That's our guy. So
I love that, dude. And then, like I said, obviously hiring internally, have to imagine a lot of the same operations, a lot of the same day-to-day stuff for you guys. And then along with that, I would assume the majority of your current staff is sticking around, or have you guys not really talked about that yet?
Yeah, he had mentioned that at least the way I remember it, that the staff was sticking together. And so
good.
That's what everyone wanted to hear. And, that's just what we wanted moving forward. And I think it's easiest for him too, because,
well, yeah,
then he doesn't have to go make a bunch of hires. Obviously, he'll have to replace himself at offensive line, and then Mitchell was special teams. So I don't know if someone else is going to pick up those duties, or we go find another guy, or what the deal is there. But yeah, no, that's
100%. And then, like I said, you guys still have those larger aspirations, but I have to feel like this is just, I don't know how the right way to describe this, but you guys are still on the same path, same trajectory. Like all the things that you want to accomplish are still in front of you. What does this do mindset-wise for you guys? What else changes, maybe internally or mentally for you guys? What is, you're only a few days into this, but what do you see about being the biggest change about this for you?
Well, the changes are kind of going to be up to him, and we'll follow his lead. But it's good because everyone, like, it kept everything intact, and you don't have a bunch of guys transferring, and you can kind of try and pick up where we left off from last year in terms of keeping guys together and just keeping that same. There will be cultural adjustments maybe, or it'll be whatever Wooster wants to do. We'll follow him in terms of itinerary changes and just everything that he wants to do. We're going to do it. So those will be the changes. Not much will change in my estimation. I don't think we'll see what he wants to do, but yeah.
4 new coaches in the league this year, dude.
Yeah,
4 new. Well, at least 3 currently hired. Obviously, still the position open at Wayne, but a lot of change. Especially when your team only has our conference only has 7 teams right now.
Yeah, so that's more than half the.
That is ridiculous.
The league, which is crazy because I think after the 21 year, were there any?
Not that I can think of.
I don't remember any after the 21 season. So it's just wild. You go from, I think, no turnover almost maybe to more than half. So
yeah, like almost 60% of the league, which is ridiculous. Yeah. Now, like I said, the one opening at Wayne State, Wooster played there. He graduated from there, coached there for a long time. You and I had kind of talked about it a little bit. The timing definitely worked out for you guys, it seems like, because I'd have to imagine some of that conversation with you guys when that job opened up was like, is that something he might want to pursue, and how do we keep him around here? Because like I said, it sounds like he has a great relationship with you guys.
Yeah, he does have a great relationship with everyone here. Judging, you can tell that off the reaction from everyone. But yeah, no, we wanted to keep him, and I can't say if he was going to be gone if he didn't get this job or not. But
just a key get back for you guys, just to keep him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, that's why he was our guy, and it keeps everything internal, and it keeps what we have intact, going forward. So
yeah, then looking next year, kind of to wrap it up here, like you said, return a lot. It feels like pick up right where you left off. Like I said, everything is still on the table for you guys as a program, I feel like. But you certainly are losing a couple big pieces. I didn't realize Swanson was coming back.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't realize he had another year, man.
Dude, he's been here forever. He's an old guy. He's been here forever.
He's the man, though. That's going to be a big returner for you guys, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Stud.
There's a lot of that. That class has kind of carried us the past, I don't know, however many, 2 seasons, because that represents the bulk of our starters right there, that class. And so there'll be 6 years next year, and they're huge in terms of what we're able to produce. So
yeah, and like you guys are, the fact that you're bringing a lot of them back, because like Swanson had told us, like, unfinished business, man. Like, he still wants to go after all that stuff, and he still feels like he's got work to do here. You know what I mean? Like, those guys want to be on the program. They've been in school forever, it feels like, but they want to be around you guys, which is awesome. Now, Tariq enters the portal, and there's a couple other guys that, did jump ship, but like like we were saying, you didn't have this mass number of guys that as soon as Mitchell was announced he was leaving, that they were just jumping ship. Right? What do you attribute that to and them feeling like secure in the program? Because you see that with a lot of places. Like when coaches leave, you're going to have a mass exodus of dudes that just want to get out of there because of uncertainty.
Yeah. I think that's partially because we were just like fingers crossed for Wooster and just the idea that he could be here and like guys are staying. And then like we thought, like if he's staying, that means all the position coaches are staying. And yeah, it keeps things moving forward. So hopefully we can get Tariq back. And I don't know what that involves and whatnot. But when you have a player like that, you hope he can stay. But he can explore what he wants to, and good for him. But hopefully, since we got Wooster back, then like I said, things are staying a lot the same, and hopefully he'll see that and want to stay. So,
hell yeah, dude! Big things coming for you guys, but. Busy rest of the day for you, huh?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Long day. It's like the 6 o'clock start for a class is just like not ideal.
Dude, that is brutal. I hit you up yesterday. You're like, yeah, 3 to 9 is not gonna work. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, and like there's like an hour window in between one of my classes.
Yeah, but it's just awkward, dude. It's an awkward time, man. I hate it. But hey,
and
knock out the rest of your stuff, brother. Appreciate you coming on for a quick conversation, my man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Of course, brother. Hey, we'll see you.
Yeah, see you, pal.
Great talking with the man, Jack. He was a little, Trev, you weren't here for that one, but he was on the move. He's walking around, getting in the car. And I'm just sitting here kind of watching. I'm like, yeah, where are we going? I'm going to be like, where are we going, Jack? He was, it was nice for him to fit me in his schedule, though. Dude's got a packed day. I'm texting him, trying to set him up. He's like, yeah, 3 to 9 is like not good for me. I'm like, damn. What kind of courses are you in, dude? It's ridiculous.
I want to be in.
No, it's ridiculous. But he had a ton of great things to say about Wooster and just the position their program is in. We kind of related it to that Marcus Freeman hire at Notre Dame, just because you saw the reaction video from the players at Grand Valley.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
Energy was crazy. Energy was really crazy. So you got to feel really good about their position. And as much success as they've had in the last couple of years, I think in their eyes and a lot of other people, it's still underperforming. Which is crazy.
I think so too. I really do, because they are ready to take that next step. Like, it almost feels like they're plateauing a little bit.
Yes.
And it doesn't help that their arch rival is Ferris State, who is now two-time national champion.
You're in the same conference as them, and that's why we talked.
Biggest rival.
We talked with Jordan Jones about the playoff, right? The playoff structure, and the fact that those two teams meet over here in the bracket instead of all the way at the top.
It doesn't make any sense. We don't need to get into that more, but
awful.
It just doesn't make sense.
Awful. It's really hard because those two teams are just quality teams. But another 2 quality teams. These ones aren't playing D2. They're playing D3 ball. That's Ithaca and Cortland, or that would be the University of New York at Cortland. This is the biggest little game in the nation. And Trevor, they play for maybe one of the coolest trophies in the nation as well. I'm going to pull it up right here. This is the Cortaca Jug that they play for. And you'll be able to see there's obviously 3 of them there because you can just only fit so many dates on one Cortaca Jug. So they move on to the subsequent Cortaca Jugs. This rivalry started in 1959. Hence, probably you need 3 jugs to keep track of all of those. But you can see the Cortland helmet on the right there, the Ithaca helmet on the left. And, the reason I want to talk about this, one, because the rivalry is just so cool, right? Those are awesome. Mm-hmm. Just like a retro trophy is just so sick, right? Yeah. Now, 2019. They played this game. It's a yearly rivalry game. They're in the same conference. They played this game in MetLife Stadium, right? And it broke the Division III record for attendance. I'm going to pull up a picture right here of MetLife. And their attendance was 45,000. Official attendance was 45,161 people. And it looked like that.
That is insane.
Dude. I'm talking, and this doesn't even really do it justice because I was at this game, like I said, and I was down in the field on a visit for Ithaca. And when I tell you, the atmosphere was so similar to that of an NFL game. Obviously, it's an NFL stadium, but you have to get the people in there to have that atmosphere.
45,000 people there.
There you go. Heck. I'm talking like lower and middle bowl at a certain point was just about full.
That's insane.
It was so impressive, dude. So impressive.
Man, that might be more fans than Geno Smith era Jets had at MetLife Stadium. They were horrible.
You might not be wrong, dude.
Seriously, that's insane.
Oh my gosh. This picture, though, you take a look at this guy right here. That is hard.
That is sweet.
That is hard. That was one of my favorites, dude. But, like, I just imagine playing in front of that crowd. Now, Ithaca went on to pretty handily win that game. Their quarterback was balling. He was a bruiser. He was running all over the place, and I remember him making a lot of plays. Both those uniforms pretty clean.
I was just going to say,
both the uniforms pretty clean out of these guys. Cortland with that red just pops off the white.
I really like the Cortland. I like the stripes on the shoulders. Those are...
It's almost giving me a little bit of a Cornell vibe.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think that the stripes kind of do that. And then the Ithaca blues are pretty sweet. They got some sweet gray jerseys as well, actually. But before we talk about them a little bit more, I got video of this crowd too, because I don't think a picture does it justice exactly. So this is a video, and let me go ahead and mute it in our studio here. I got it muted, thankfully, on this, so they're not just getting that ear rape of whatever was just going on. But this is a video from inside of MetLife on that day in 2019. And I'm going to say, preface this by saying, I don't know what the cameraman was on, why he's flipping this thing back and forth. But holy shit. Look at that.
Wow.
That's pretty sick, man. Look
That's
at that when he
insane.
zooms out right there. Like, I'm going to pause that. Whoop. There. What?
Like,
dude,
that's more than a lot of D1 schools get. Like,
100%. 100%,
not
man.
to bash the MAC, but look at that compared to most MAC games.
That's very true. That's very
they
true.
have the
And
MAC.
hits home.
I guess that might be a bad example, but
yeah, because it's just an unconventional time.
yeah.
But I mean,
like,
dude,
it's a D3. Like, that's just insane to me.
both sides just showed out, and that is just that's special, dude. That is like really special. And I've got a couple more that I want to show before we move on to Yankee Stadium here. But here's a little bit of a longer kind of like a feature, because like I said, I just don't think you can get enough of this stuff. Like, it is just so cool and unique that you got to check this out. And for a D3 school to be able to do these type of things, I think it's so sick. So here we go. We've got like everything from the tailgating to the actual stadium, and like I was out there for the tailgate, dude. Badass. Look at all this, man. So this is in East Rutherford, New Jersey, I believe. So technically not even New York, but obviously this is where the New York professional teams play. So it does there's a little bit of a tie-in there. And look at this, dude. So sick.
That's unreal. Like,
kickoff in there was electric. There were actually a couple of really big time plays. Defense was flying for Ithaca. I just remember all that. And they had College Game Day do a pick here.
really?
College Game Day picked this game. I believe Herb Street was the only team to not pick Ithaca. He picked Cortland. And the dude after the game comes out, he said, Herb Street really ain't pick us to win. They love it, dude. Could you imagine having Game Day pick your game, dude?
That is awesome. Look at the energy in that.
Yes,
stadium.
dude.
Look at that.
It's unreal. I love it. So kind of moving on from this one, Yankee Stadium, before we really move on from the whole Cortaca Jug game, I want to this is kind of the wrap up of this one, but Yankee Stadium. So this MetLife Stadium 2019, you break the D3 attendance record. How do you move on from that, right? And I think their goal for a time at Ithaca, really when it's kind of conceptualized, is to have this opportunity for at least, for the class to experience this opportunity once.
Gotcha.
So maybe like every 4 years, you go and do something like this. I guess they couldn't even wait that long, right? Because 2022, they already got back to do Yankee Stadium, excuse me. And when I pull this one up, I think you will find this one pretty cool as well, courtesy of the Cortland Voice, apparently. Check that out.
That is awesome.
Dude, I personally did not. Have they played football in Yankee Stadium before?
Pinstripe Bowl, I'm pretty sure.
Pinstripe Bowl.
I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I think there is another bowl game. I think there's a bowl game there.
I did not know that. The Pinstripe Bowl sounds extremely fitting, so I'm going to go with you on that. I'm going to trust you. But, dude, that is so badass.
That is sweet.
I think the craziest part actually is the field goal post. I think the field goal post planted on like where home plate would almost be.
Yeah, I didn't even process that.
Right?
Right
Because
now.
you just assume football and you're
Yeah.
like field goal, but then you're like, no, this is fucking Yankee Stadium. This is not correct. And it's very close to where home plate would be.
It's real close.
It's like very close, dude.
That's funny.
That is hilarious. I think that's pretty sick. And then I think I have, I thought I had one more.
So cool.
But yeah, so that's Ithaca, man. That's the Cortaca Jug. And I really wanted to touch on that before we got into that's a good like precursor for our next guest, being the D3 guy that he is. We're going to go over to our conversation now with Arthur Cox, and I'll be reading all of his accolades right about now. Joining us now on the pod, 2022 WIAC Special Teams Player of the Year. This guy's tearing it up at UW Stout. He's also first team all-conference. It's Arthur Cox. Arthur, what's going on, my man? Pumped to get you on here, dude.
I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Of course, man. Big year for you. I'm sure, obviously, just looking at the record, not where you guys wanted to end up as a team, but at the same time, a big year for you, dude. Like I said.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be exciting as hell.
It was a big year. Yeah, we had a really good receiving room. We had a kid from Chatfield, Minnesota. His name was Parker Fossum. We had a kid from Chicago, Illinois. I went to St. Lawrence. His name was Levy Hamer. He's got every single record in the book here at Stout. So that's who I'm chasing right now with only 1 year left. Yeah, we had a good year. We came out in some close games, man. Couldn't get the top side of those, but we just got back in the weight room today, man. We're striving to get better for next year. So
hey, we're in the same spot, dude. We're in there 6 o'clock, back there at 10 o'clock. For me, it's a good little wake up call to get back. We came back 6 a.m. that Friday morning, and
it was brutal.
The big guy group. I mean, you walk in, and coaches know, like, you got a trash can at each station, and as I'm walking in, you see one after another just kind of saunter over there. And it was good. I think since then we've done a lot better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was just that wake up call on Friday morning at 6 a.m. We haven't lifted. We haven't worked out tough since break. So how
was today? Any throwing the cookies or any tossing the cookies today? Or are you guys doing all right down there?
No, not today. Today was just we maxed out on bench and
first day back.
Just to get a little baseline for where we want to be at by the end of spring ball. So just show off we're getting a little bit stronger, a little bit faster,
I hear you, dude. Now, like you said, a lot of close games this year for you guys, and unfortunately, again, didn't come out on top of a lot of those. But that's the league, dude. That's the WIAC, and we've become a little bit more familiar with that, having played Oshkosh the last 2 years, and we've had some of those teams in that league play with other GLIAC opponents, other D2 opponents across the Midwest. But you guys played 5 ranked teams this year, and something they all had in common was that UW in front of their name. That's unreal, dude. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's the thing. The first school I went to when I straight out of high school in 2018 was Southwest Minnesota State. They gave me opportunity, so I always thank them for that. I went there, didn't traveled the first year, didn't like it much. Just wasn't my vibe. I felt like they just wasted a year traveling. I mean, and as a freshman, I didn't expect to play. You know what I mean? It was just, I was a true freshman, not expecting to play at all. But just didn't like the vibe there, so I got out of there, went back to my community college. And just started looking at my options. I don't know. You probably couldn't tell from camera, but I'm 5'6", a solid 160, soaking wet. So not a very big individual. And it was very hard to get recruited after that.
I bet. Man.
I started hitting up all the WIAC schools. A bunch of them contacted me back, but ended up coming down to Stout, and this is where I'm at. I'm glad I called home because they gave me opportunity, like I said, and two-time all-conference and special teams player of the year. So I always have my praise for them because they gave me opportunity when no one would. So,
hell yeah, dude, I love that. And I sent it in our little our group chat too. Like, you've got some supporters over there too. I mean, the people. I just sent out a little graphic saying like, yeah, he's gonna be on the show. A couple of your coaches threw me a follow. I was like, damn, head coach was the 600th follower. Shout out, coach.
Oh, yeah, shout out Coach Bird, man. Shout out that, man. I still have the email I wrote in my notes right now to him, trying to get here. I didn't know if he would take me someone 5'6", so small, but, I showed him what I was worth, and now I'm here, and he's giving me opportunity every time we come on the field Saturday, so I appreciate him.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Like you said, you're not the only one in that room or on that team that has just had breakout years, whether it be stats or otherwise. You guys filled up some pretty big accolades. And again, not to be callous, but for a 5-5 team, impressive that you have those type of caliber players, but those guys are all around at Division III. I don't think people realize that, obviously, because a lot of the times comes in a little bit different shapes and sizes, right? I think your freshman year, at least at Stout, they had you listed at 170, and then this year was 150. What's the deal with that, man?
Yeah, I lost a little bit of weight. I feel like being that strong, I just I didn't feel myself. I'm more of an elusive guy. Make people miss. I definitely don't shy away from contact. Don't get that. A bunch of people get that mixed around, but I don't shy away from contact. But I mean, I just feel like I wasn't my normal self. Wasn't hitting my normal speed. wasn't getting out of my breaks good enough. So I switching to receiver. I used to play running back in high school. So switching to receiver, coming over to Stout. I even played running back at Southwest, which was a large task of picking up those NSIC linebackers in the A gap. So it was just a nice transition. I played a little bit of receiver in high school, but I went to a school with about 800 kids, so there wasn't enough kids to so where I could play a receiver and running back. So I just sucked it out at running back and stayed there for the last 2 years. I was upperclassman.
I got you. Now talk about because I know I went through it. Trev, you definitely went through it. Is just figuring out your body, especially when you get to college, right? Like I came in COVID years, my freshman year, and we grind through those fall practices, we grind through those spring practices, and I'm just trying to earn my spot as a freshman. I probably got here a little under 200 pounds, worked my way up to 218, almost pushing 220. And I felt like I was a meatball. I was just a straight meatball. I wasn't not moving anything. So I go in the totally opposite direction, get all the way down to 189. And all of a sudden I'm feeling frail. I feel weak, So it's I've done both ends of the spectrum. Now you find a happy medium. And I just curious to hear what your journey was with that. It sounds like you've kind of gone through some of that as well, finding your good playing weight.
Yeah, and in high school, I was I just felt like I needed to get bigger. I took a bigger load my junior year. I averaged probably 28 carries a game, so it was a good load. It was a good amount, So I felt I needed to bulk some weight up, and then by my senior year, I figured if I could just make people miss, whatever weight I'm at, it don't really matter. I'll get less touches. I'll get in the end zone more. So I decided to drop down about probably 160 there. And then probably got back up to, around 170. I went to Southwest and then lost it all once I found out I was coming to Stout and coming to change the receiver. Just felt like being a little 5'6" bowling ball wasn't going to help me in slot. So
I'm telling you, man, that's what it was. It's a bowling ball season, man.
Exactly.
Everyone goes through it. It's a necessary phase of college football, dude.
It is for sure.
I love that. Now, from a lineman's perspective, though, does that at all ring a bell? Is that very similar, or is it a totally different process?
For me, it was a little different because I came in at about 280 pounds. Now I'm about 300, 295.
Because he wanted you to go up when you got in, right?
Yeah, but he wanted me just to build muscle. It was just and that's all I really had to do.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always been pretty easy because it's not I don't have to lose a lot. I don't want to lose weight. And if I gain a few pounds, it's not a big deal. I'm an offensive lineman. I'm not running around, you know what I mean?
Hey, the margins are a little bit wider.
Yeah, I never had a set weight. It was just stay in here and keep gaining muscle and you'll be good. So that's where I'm kind of at right now.
I love that, dude. But kind of mentioned a little bit earlier the competition in your league. It's great, but also the support, it seems like. That's one thing I always look at is the attendance numbers at a lot of these things, especially when you compare levels. I think it's a really cool stat to look at. And there were a couple times this past year you guys are playing in front of almost 4,000 people. You don't see that a lot at the Division III level of football anywhere in the country, dude. Talk about that. Probably some pretty sweet environments, especially a lot of those in-state type of rivalry matchups.
Yeah. Actually, majority of the kids are from in-state. Some kids from Minnesota, some kids from Illinois. We even got some kids from Arizona that are some complete dogs, man. Those Arizona kids, those are some dogs out there, man. But yeah, we got kids from all over, but majority are from Wisconsin, like I was saying. And it's just easy for their family to travel, and even their friends, friends from high school, friends of friends and whatnot. And even my family, I live in Dixon, or my family lives in Dixon, Illinois, and they travel 4.5 hours to come see me play on Saturday. So it's really just, it's really just love. A lot of people just spread the love, and we just got a lot of support behind us. A lot of people just love WIAC football. Also, they love the rivalries. They love the grit and the grind of WIAC football. It's a real special place. Even if we go on away games, I know we'll have a crowd and a rally behind us, tailgate, and you'll see that Stout flag flying when you roll in on the bus, man. It feels great because there's people who are there supporting you, and there won't be a no energy game. You got to bring your own energy type deal. We had to do that maybe one game this season, but other than that, the fans came and they showed out, even cold, hot, it didn't matter. They showed up and showed out and was loud for us, whether we were down 14 or up 20, you know what I mean? So
shout out Stout Faithful, man. Shout out to Stout Faithful. I love that. Hey, but like you said, you come in there, like, it's a different vibe. It's a different feeling when you come in there and there's no fans. Then you're like, you're playing underdog. You're playing, like, the spoiler, especially when it's, like, a team schedule you for, like, a homecoming or a senior, you know what I mean? Like a senior day type deal, whatever that is. Like, that's a different type of a good feeling when you come in there and spoil that for someone.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the best. It felt like that when we played Platteville because they came off a big win the week before. They beat Whitewater, and as many people know, if they know anything about WIAC football, Whitewater has been dominant for years.
Oh yeah,
they've always been good, and they had their chest pumped up coming in our stadium, and we felt as we took that as disrespect. You know, they're like, yeah, you had a big win last week, but we're a totally different team. So we came out, showed out, and we won in triple overtime. Never thought I'd make it to a triple overtime game or trading off 2-point conversions. But hey, that's what we practice for Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? And that's what we prepare for, is that type of stuff right there. Those moments where our quarterback just throws a leak tight end across the end zone when he's getting pressured in his face and he catches it one hand. And as a wide receiver, I'm always giving the tight ends crap, saying that you guys need to get off the field, man. Get the athletes on the field, man. Get these wide receivers on the field. But man, I'll never hate on them. I told them that too. I'll never hate on them after a few games this year. They came through big and got us a few dubs. So
yeah, y'all don't like hearing, like, you know, you come out there 12 personnel, 22 personnel.
You're like,
no,
I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that.
Back on the sideline, man. What the hell is this? Hey, that's me. I love that shit. I live for those personnel groups. But as a wideout, obviously, you're not trying to hear that. You're not trying to.
No. As a running back though, back in high school, I would have loved to hear that, man. Bring some boxes on the bodies on the field. Give me some more blocks.
Let me get a 10-man box.
Yeah, give me a 10-man box, man. They used to load the box in high school, anyways, man. So I wanted a bigger box anyways. You might as well put some more people in.
28 carries a game, I would hope you're loading the box.
Exactly. I understand why they loaded the box, man.
That is awesome. But on that same note, the D3, the love at D3, we're going to talk about it a lot more in depth here in a little bit, but the biggest D3 game, Cortaca Ithaca. I'm not sure if you're familiar with their rivalry they have. It's called the Cortaca Jug. They play for it every year. I was there in 2019. I was looking to potentially go to Ithaca. Dude, there were 45,000 fans at this game, this D3 game.
Jesus Christ.
And we're going to break into it here, but I just that's the stat right there. It's the record, obviously. But they played it in MetLife Stadium, and, like, you know, I don't care what stadium, what teams, whatever. If you can get that many people out to a game, just alumni, current and past and former and future, you know, people of all those colleges, like, the love for D3 is there. And, like, I will say, too, 2 of the top 6 games of all time are between Wisconsin schools in terms of attendance. So that football, you guys, they're definitely showing out over there in attendance. But, I'm not sure. I kind of touched on it earlier. The GVSU and D2 teams playing some of those schools in your conference. Have you guys had any of those games since you've been there?
No, not since I've been here. Not even when I was at Southwest. I actually was surprised to see that Oshkosh played you guys, but I saw the year before on film. So I was watching film for them, and I saw it, and I was like, wow, they're playing with Michigan. That's a dome, man. That's nice, man.
Crazy. That's a solid team, man. We barely, we squeaked out that win this year. We played a good game. You know what I mean? But we played a good game, but, like, quality team, dude. Quality team.
Yeah.
And, you have teams like, I know lacrosse went and played Grand Valley. I believe it was just last year. And you look at halftime of that game, Grand Valley is a top whatever team in D2 in the country. The game was like a 1-score or a tied game at halftime. Exactly. I remember looking at that, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What is going on? And now Grand Valley, they pulled away in the second half, and they kind of showed why they're Grand Valley. But, dude, though, I just think it's awesome to see that, and I'm just hoping for a lot more of that, to be honest with you. Because, one, I think it's just really cool whenever you can get those kind of cross-division matchups, especially with a really good D3 and a really good D2 conference when you get those matchups, but also for recruiting. Imagine what it does for you guys and for those teams in that Wisconsin league. If they were to come out and beat GV or when they take on us or whoever.
Lacrosse beat Wayne State this year. I mean, I know Wayne State had a down year.
Yeah, but still.
They went into Wayne State and beat them in Detroit.
It's a D2 team, no matter what. So, the fact that they can do that, I feel like you're going into a high school, that's your first recruiting pitch.
Oh, yeah. I hope we get a game like that. I mean, I'd love to see some competition like that. I mean, like I said, there's crazy D2, D1 bounce backs in the WIAC. I'm like, dude, where'd this kid come from that's on another team? It's like, oh, yeah, that's a D1 bounce back from NIU. I'm like, dude, why did you come to this conference, man? You're good, man. God, geez. But, I love competition. I never shy away from competition. I think it just brings the best out of me. And, like, that's the thing is when I was playing at Southwest, I figured once I was transferring to a D3 that the competition with the level would go down. And in a few positions, I will admit it did. But overall, man, I think there's just some dogs out here in D3. I just think there's some real dogs out here, and you'll see it when you come to the game, man. There's some kids that are running sideline to sideline with me. I'm like, dude, come on, now I gotta put on some type of move, man. I gotta stop and go, a little hit step or something. I don't know, man. I gotta do something, man. But I love the competition in this conference, and that's the reason why I came here after leaving Southwest, because I knew that just from being in Illinois, I knew that some kids would come over to this conference and succeed, and play good competition, play close games, and that's what you love. You don't love walking in somewhere and blowing some team out. That's not. I mean, yeah, you love scoring touchdowns and celebrating with your team, but you really love those close games where after you're telling stories the whole bus ride home about a certain play and what somebody did and something like that. I mean, those close games are what you live for. So
yeah. With that though, best team you guys played this year, hands down. Anyone jump out?
I would have to say lacrosse.
Okay.
Lacrosse is real good this year. They had a two-system quarterback, I think. On their offense, and one was a runner, one was a passer, but they kind of mixed in well. We actually went into halftime in the game, but we just turned the ball over a little bit too much. They had a few kids that were pretty good, pretty good. I think they had an All-American safety. I think his name's Elijah All. He's pretty good. I played him for 2 years now, and he's always impressed me on film. And that's where you can tell is all the time on film, because you're watching every play, every down. Where, hey, do you want to get in this play or not? Like, and that there's certain kids in this conference that they're in the play every play. You can't. It don't matter if you throw a receiver at them and a safety or something, try to chip them or something, chip a D in or something like. They're going to get in the play no matter what, and there's just some kids like that in this conference that are just dogs, man.
That's what you wanted, that position, man. And I'm going through the box scores from this year, right? Doing my research, trying to do my job here as a host. But you've had some solid returns. Obviously, I listed the accolades in the beginning. The one from Eau Claire, 96 yards, got to be a special moment for you. But be honest, you had to be gassed as hell.
Oh, yeah. I was a little
gassed. Came off the field like sprint. I feel like some guys try and play that off. If you run that thing 96 and crib it, I know you were done in the end zone.
A little gas. I was feeling like Trey Henderson from the Bengals when he went that stupid score from the Ravens. That's how I was feeling. No, I will tell you the most gas I was we had a turnover on against Lacrosse, and dude was taking it. He was going, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to DK him. So I'm running. Our running back's a little bit in front of us. He just gets blindsided by. I felt bad for him. He just gets blindsided blocked. So I try to run around him and like onto their sideline, like kind of legal touching and try to keep chasing after this dude. Did not catch him at all. I thought I was not DK. I'm not. Some people are DK. I'm not DK. And I went back to the sideline. I'm like, damn, we got to go back into the offense in one play. I had to get someone to give me return and whatnot. I'm like, why did I chase? Like, I got heart, so I'll always chase someone down no matter how far I am away. But God, I was the tightest I was for sure. I was like, I sent someone in for me to kick off return, and I think I sat probably like the first two plays out on offense, and I had to go back in there. So
that's awesome, dude. But hey, that's all good stuff. Kind of wrapping it up with you. Another year to go for you, right? You got one more?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. So, yes, sir. Come on, bro. Yeah. Come on. But goals for you, 2023, man. Big year for you, obviously, and just kind of wanting to go out in a statement year. What do you got in mind? What are your sights set on for this year, brother?
Well, like to say this first, I kind of want more team accomplishments more than individual accomplishments this year. Like seriously, I'm dead serious. I mean, like I said earlier in the podcast, like I got 2-time all conference, and special teams player of the year. So I mean, all region third team for returner. So I mean, like I got accomplishments. It's more team success. I've been 5-5 both years I've been here, and we weren't very successful at Southwest. So I mean, I haven't been successful since high school. I had a positive record since high school. So that's mostly the big thing. Is at least we're definitely striving to win the conference as always. But if we get 1 or 2 losses in conference, at least make playoffs or the Isthmus Bowl. You know, I just want a team accomplishment to end my career because I've been playing football since I was 6, man. It's been a long time, man. I'm turning 23 next month, so I'm getting old here, man. I'm about to hang them up and feel like Frank Gore, man.
No. You got a couple years before you on Gore's level, all right?
Exactly.
Gore
no, but
another level. Especially
just
that
more
position. It makes no sense.
No sense at all how he lasted that long, man. No sense.
But Arthur, my man, like I said at the beginning, I mean it, dude. I appreciate you. It's been good, brother. Really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you for having me on, man. I'm forever support this podcast for having me on. You know what I mean? You still love me. I'll still love you back, bro.
My man. Hey, we'll be in touch. I expect a lot of big things from you and the boys down there, all right?
Yes, sir. I got you. Right? I got you.
Have a good one, man. We'll see you.
You too.
Appreciate the man, Arthur, man. That was fun. I said man twice. I'm going into my Dan Campbell phase. But he was a good dude. He brought energy. That's what we were kind of talking about when we closed that interview, is just like when guys bring energy like that. He was just excited. Like he was just pumped to do that. And we appreciate that.
Yeah. He was a great guy.
Hell yeah. And like I was telling him in the middle of our interview, I got to pull up my phone because I'm going to totally disrespect Coach here. I got to figure out. Oh, we got 3 more followers by the time I close this. So head coach for UW Stout was our 600th follower, Clayton Birmingham. Shout out Coach Birmingham, man. Follower number 600 for D1R. That's awesome, dude. So shout out to those guys. 5-5 in that conference. Again, it's like going 5-5 in the GVSU, right? It's a tough, very tough thing to do. Even those 5 losses, they're going to be against quality teams. So really excited to see what he and they do moving on. But only 4 teams moving on in the NFL scene. That is the takeaway from the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We'll pull up. We got this guy here. And here we're looking at the bracket for the remainder of the playoffs. Pull that up there. Now, moving on. We can kind of go game by game on this one. But, I mean, just to start things off, Bengals, Chiefs, Niners, Eagles. 3 of the 4 same teams as last year, obviously with the Rams being that one substitute in the NFC for the Eagles. And, people rip on college football a lot about the lack of parity and, that diversification is not the right rule, but right word, but, variety, right, in those playoff teams. Maybe we need to have to start having the same conversation about the NFL, huh?
I mean, I feel like if you look through the NFL, like, I don't know the stats on it. They're different teams have different runs, and you have. We're
just in a time right now where these teams are hot.
Teams are hot. Exactly.
I think that's fair. Now,
like you could argue that pretty soon Kansas City might start to go down a little because some of their guys are getting older.
They're certainly not going to go up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not. This is, if anything, they've reached it, and you would assume, but then we could be proved wrong. We have
could.
before.
I shouldn't say that on here, and then. And then you got the 49ers. What are they going to do next year with quarterback?
A lot of question marks,
so
obviously.
Many questions. So you never know. Like I was saying, you had the Tom Brady era of the Patriots. Like they had their time. Obviously, it's gone now, and it's
that shit over with.
It's kind of cyclical, and it's just going to keep on repeating.
I think you're right. And we can start right with the 49ers. They beat the Cowboys 19-12, and kind of back to what we associate with San Fran and a gritty playoff win, right? Especially when you look at last year against Green Bay, they didn't even have an offensive touchdown, and they go and beat Green Bay at Green Bay, and you're like, that is not supposed to happen, right? Those games are, but that's what San Fran. They thrive in those situations. And for me, the biggest takeaway, again, obviously, is Brock Purdy. I think
he's
but
great. He's genuinely. He's a good NFL quarterback.
He's playing like one, and
I don't know. If
it's crazy.
He's fooling us, and this isn't going to be how he's like,
right? That's what my note says, dude. I said Brock Purdy still looks good. It feels like we've been waiting for the rookie reality check. I wrote.
Yeah, but
we've yet to get it.
No, I'm saying this now because now he's good, but I remember him being pretty darn good at Iowa State.
Oh, he was more than darn. Yeah, he was more than darn good.
He was good. No one really talked about Iowa State. I mean, maybe because from where we're from,
and conference too. Their conference,
but
Big 12, correct?
I watched, Big 12, and he was good in college.
Hell yeah.
He was unreal, and he was doing exactly what he's doing now in the NFL. So
yeah, and this is a weird comparison, but you'll see where I'm going with it. Lamar Jackson, year 1 in the league, obviously electrifying. And then year 2, you come back, and they're very different play styles. I'm not comparing the two.
Oh, yeah.
Let's preface that. But what I am comparing is that reality check does set in a little bit because, let's face it, there's some really smart defensive minds in the NFL.
Yeah.
And when you give these defensive coordinators and these defensive coaches a year to study not only your traits and your playmaking, but your habits and your things that happen on a subconscious level, that your little tells, right, on certain plays. You know, you might give this away, or you're looking here, and your eyes and your body will never lie, especially the DCs. So when they can pick up on certain things and certain tendencies that these young quarterbacks have that might be hard to snap, you give them a year, and it'll be very interesting. Now, for our sake, let's just hope Brock Purdy just makes this a run and just caps it off. Huh? What do you think?
Yeah.
Mr. Irrelevant, what kind of storyline would that be?
I mean, it'd be the perfect storyline, really.
It'd be pretty good.
Wow. Okay, that was pretty funny.
Come
But
on. Yeah. But I will say, that's another thing is the question mark, obviously, because you also have, let's not forget, you have 2 other quarterbacks that are competent quarterbacks that are both hurting out right now.
I was saying it the other day, like, what do you do for the 49ers? Do you trade away Trey Lance when he's worth something still?
You pray.
Jimmy Garoppolo, he's an average quarterback, but I don't think he's ever going to take you to the Super Bowl.
The thing is with him, he's at a very interesting point in his career where I don't believe is great enough to go somewhere else and just be a starter automatically, but I feel like he's too accomplished and too qualified to be a backup.
I agree.
And so you're in a very interesting predicament. And I say, like, that's why you just, if you're the 49ers, you just pray. You pray that, someone wants to take Garoppolo or Lance off your hands and make the decision a lot easier.
Yeah, someone will want Trey Lance.
I would assume so.
You can, while he's still worth something, I'd get rid of him because Brock Purdy is a lot cheaper.
That is very true.
I don't know what his contract is.
But we just know based on where they're picked.
Where he's picked is not
and
high.
also, rookie this year means you have more years on a rookie deal potentially. And then also with Lance, he was picked, 1 or 2 years ago?
2 now.
2 now, I believe. Yeah. So that rookie deal inches closer and closer where you'd have to eventually obviously make a new deal, and that means a lot more money.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Very interesting situation. But closing off on that game, the Cowboys' final play, Zeke gives it a try at center and gets absolutely, like, there's a Ezekiel Elliott-sized imprint in the turf.
I just want to know.
In Levi Stadium, correct? I think it's a Levi Stadium.
Levi
yeah,
Stadium.
There's a Zeke-sized imprint out there somewhere.
I just want to know what the thought process was on that play.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Why do you have Ezekiel Elliott snapping the ball? You can run.
There are so many other ways it could have been utilized.
What I think the plan was they were going to start doing the laterals.
Yeah,
but they wanted to get their linemen out as blockers. I think that was the whole point.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, in concept.
I've been trying to figure out the concept of this.
And play devil's advocate and give him a chance, benefit of the doubt.
But why can't you just still put your center at center, and then he can go block? Like, you can do everything you did, and have that set up. Just have Zeke as an eligible receiver because he's your starting running back. He's not a center. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And the comparison that a lot of people were drawing was to, and I was seeing if I could try and pull it up here, but I don't know if I'll be able to, was the play with Pat McAfee and the Colts. Right? If you remember that one, he's under center, not even in shotgun.
No.
And there's 3 defenders in front. There's just a center and whatever, the quarterback, whatever, but like the guy taking the snap. And the ball was not supposed to be snapped. Well, they snapped the ball. What do you think happened? There's 3 defenders there. He gets tackled. It might have been the worst play in NFL history.
It was the worst play in NFL history.
And so that was drawing pretty close comparisons to what just happened.
Cowboys might have the second worst play now because at least they gained yards. I know they need to win the game, but but that Colts play was by far the worst.
It was. But after that Cowboys game, after that final play, I would like you to explain what you just explained to me to this fine Cowboys fan, this gentleman. Let's take a look and see. I'm not going to have the volume on because I know he's probably just absolutely throwing around some expletives. That TV gone. In the Lamb jersey.
He gets in his truck.
In the truck. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God.
That ain't no little truck either. Oh, the mirror's coming out.
Oh, that's a fancy truck.
He's going to back over it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Here we go. Thank you for blurring out the license plates. We can't come after this man. And no remorse.
No more.
Gosh. Oh. It just spit it out.
Did the screen come off?
I think it. What was that? We're going to. Hold on. I need to rewind.
That is the screen.
Can we? Holy shit.
The screen just comes straight
Oh
off.
my gosh, are you serious? Dude.
Well, he was efficient about breaking his TV.
He actually was. No, he certainly was. I mean, props to that guy. Now, he is actually one of only 3 videos we're about to check out, so you're going to want to stay tuned for these 2. But you said your over-under was, what, 3 or 4?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a couple more TVs that are definitely going to get busted before we move on to the next topic. So if you don't want to see that, skip ahead, but I think you should stick around for this one. Here we have another Cowboys fan watching in some kind of living room. Not even sitting, by the way. Crouched and
oh my
fist.
God. Oh my God. And then the knee.
In the jorts and slides is crazy.
Pulls down the little Cowboys sign. On
You
the wall
know
too.
that Prescott jersey got burned approximately 30 minutes after this video was taken.
I wonder what I want to wonder.
Can we admire the stance? Hold on, I'm pausing it. Look at the stance. That's a dedicated fan.
It really is.
How long has he been sitting like that?
That's what I want to know. Has it been the whole
His
game?
quads are on fire, but he doesn't care because he's watching Zeke Elliott snap the fucking ball right now.
And get absolutely.
And then what's actually
driven
even
into the
more
ground.
hilarious, the punch, and then he continues to gesture and yell at the TV like, is that what you wanted? How about now?
Like he was showing the TV what's
Yeah,
up.
I don't know. He went like feral at this point, and he was not really sure what's going on, but kind of a wimpy punch, to be honest with you.
But I want to know.
Look at his fist. He like balled his fist up like he's a middle schooler.
I want to know. Did he have to go to the hospital after that? After
But for the knee, potentially. Look at the knee. It's like when they break a bat in baseball and it just doesn't go right. I don't know.
But
he definitely just played it off.
You went and punched it, and that's all glass. I wonder.
Oh, you're talking into the fist.
Yeah,
if we
the
got some
fist.
like shrapnel or some type
Well,
of.
He probably has some shrapnel in his hand.
In
now.
the moment, though, that adrenaline is going
Oh,
crazy
it doesn't
for
hurt.
him.
It doesn't hurt him right then.
It's going like the adrenaline for him right now is just through the roof in that moment. So maybe we'll have to follow up and see what the hospital bill was looking like for Bub after that. But 3 of 3, finish it off, and let's see if we can get another TV destroyed. Nope, just kidding. This one is not a TV, but a jersey. And is he pissing on that jersey? Nope, not piss. He's burning that shit. And if you notice, said jersey on the ground is being burned. It's a Dak jersey. Look what he's got on. He's got a Romo jersey on. Burning a Dak jersey.
So do you think he had the Dak jersey on, took it off to burn it, and went and put the Tony Romo jersey on?
Or he had the Romo jersey on underneath because he knew
that was going to happen.
Yes. That would be the cooler story. Look how excited he is about this shit. He said, tell your homeboys, you throw an interception in the play. Look at him. He pointed at the 9. He said, Nye would never do me like this. He might actually. So what is he? A touchdown signal? That's a decent fire that he's got going at the end there. Fast forward to the end. Those flames are kicking, dude. Look at the exposure of the camera went down automatically to compensate.
I like that you can just still barely see the 4 to know that it's still Dak.
This almost looks like some type of cult meeting now. With him looking over the flames. Like you'd sprinkle something in there and like summon something. Maybe like a better quarterback.
Maybe Cooper Rush.
That's pretty good, dude. Where the hell is Cooper Rush when you need him, dude? Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That's good. But we have more NFL games to cover. I forget, like we actually have other NFL games to talk about. We can move on. Bengals. They go into Buffalo. A lot of people thought, including myself, like this might be the team of destiny. They've been the Super Bowl favorites since the opener, and they certainly have not looked like a lock and key Super Bowl favorite the entire year, but they've had their moments where they obviously have been on top of the mountain. But they go into Buffalo. They beat up the Bills 27-10, and it felt like this one was pretty one-sided from the get-go in Cincy. They were picking them apart on offense. The creativity was there. And I don't even know if it was blown coverages. I think it was just really smart and well-designed play calling in the beginning. Those couple touchdowns, the one was to Hurst, the tight end, right? And the first one was to Chase, though, right?
Yeah, the first one was to Jamar, yeah.
And the way that they picked apart that defense and knew from their tendencies that, given this look in this, situation, they're going to fold. And it was really cool to see. They got up early on them. And it was just tough to come back from that. Buffalo almost had no rushing offense. Allen was their leading rusher with, I want to say, like 28 yards.
That's atrocious.
Really not good. He was only averaging like 3 a carry, which is really bad. Because a lot of that too is because he was under pressure.
Yeah.
So he was under duress and under pressure. And what's funny about that is the Bills O-line, was not the one under pressure and the one receiving all this criticism and hate throughout the week. It was the Bengals offensive line.
Although, I want to mention, they're much improved from last year.
And they were very good. They were pretty good this weekend.
Yeah. And they were so bad last year, and the Bengals still made it to the Super Bowl. I feel like people didn't really talk about the Bengals that much. Like really much at all. Like,
so many people counted them out this year, kind of myself included. I won't lie.
I did in the beginning of the year, and then to be honest,
they got hot.
I didn't even realize how hot they got because I pay attention to the NFL, but like still like the AFC North, I'm not paying attention to the AFC as much.
It feels like a world away from kind of what we're.
As a Lions fan, I'm paying more attention to the NFC games. I didn't realize that. How many did they win in a row? It was a big streak.
Something absurd. It was like over 6, maybe.
I want to say 7, but I could be wrong.
You're in the ballpark for sure. We
Something
both
like
are.
that. It's like they're basically the same team from last year, but just better.
Yeah,
and they made it to the Super Bowl
with valuable playoff experience.
Yeah, why did we count them out? All they did was improve their defense and improve their O-line. And then they had the same skill guys that were amazing last year.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow's making his case to be another, again, top 5 finishing quarterback in the league this year.
And they just improved from last year. So
yeah, and
we shouldn't have counted them
for
out.
the Bills. It felt like losing Von Miller was really noticeable in this type of environment, this type of game in Buffalo, playoff time, kind of like big implications. They've had some playmakers step up on that side of the ball. Milano, dog.
He's good.
Dude, like even when he's not making plays, he's making plays. If that makes any sense. Like he gets in the backfield, he doesn't make a tackle, but he's so disruptive like that the play is bounced or it's tunneled in or whatever he's trying to do, and like other guys are just swarming to the ball. Like he is so fun to watch. He's dynamic as hell. The only guy maybe more dynamic than him is like Warner. Like Warner is so fun to watch in the Niners. A little bit different position, but still. Felt like losing Von Miller kind of a big deal for them, which I don't know if people appreciated that also. Because of his age and kind of what people had said about him.
I think it was like, I remember seeing stuff about it, but I didn't think people talked about it.
It wasn't a huge deal.
Like a huge, all over social media kind of big deal.
Yeah, 100%. Then kind of rounding things out here, other side of the NFC, Eagles trounced the Giants. That's all.
It wasn't even.
I didn't really have much notes on that one.
Yeah, it just wasn't even.
It was kind of disheartening after Danny Dimes and Saquon come out and they have their like, welcome to the big stage type moment, and then you're so underwhelming in that next performance against a division opponent. I will say too that has already beat you twice. It is so hard to beat it's hard to beat a team twice. It's even harder to beat a team three times, and then to do it that overwhelmingly. And
Danny Dimes was not Danny Dimes. He was kind of back to his old self.
And we were just talking about last week
I was talking about him last week. How
the 5th-year option. And like, he's definitely going to make a bunch of money. And like, still, playoffs, first playoff win in who knows how long. Like, so many great things to be proud of if you're a Dable or the Giants or just a fan. But, man, for it to end like that to the Eagles.
It's disheartening, but they're almost like they got a new head coach. It's like, they were kind of like going through a rebuild, and they kind of surprised some people.
Which is crazy. Yeah, technically they maybe should have been, but when you look at their young talent on both sides of the ball, I think it just kind of shows you what can happen that quickly.
This year should have been more of a rebuild for them.
Yeah.
But obviously, they made it to the playoffs, won a playoff game. Give them some credit, but they looked atrocious. The Eagles just beat them in every possible category of football.
Talk about supposed to be in a technical maybe rebuild or not, I don't know, but Jacksonville. They kept that one close, like crazy close. The Chiefs, they keep it rolling against Jacksonville. They ended up winning, I believe it was 27-20. And Mahomes goes down with that little kind of nasty ankle injury. And we saw that with Pollard as well. I didn't touch on that during the Cowboys game. But when you have that type of tackle where the defender comes up behind, and I don't think it's a fault to the defender. I don't really think it is. But they come up behind him, and they wrap, and then their lower body they just kind of drop, and their weight falls. And when you catch a weird angle and the ankle of the offensive player gets stuck underneath like that, it's really tough to watch. Mm-hmm. So he actually came back for a bit too, which was
he finished the game.
Crazy. Yeah, exactly. He finished it, which was why? But it's a playoff game. It was a one-score game. And I kind of get it.
He was visibly frustrated. I don't know if you saw that. Throwing his helmet. Like, you don't see that type of. He's usually a very like well-mannered, like
and
very
positive,
calm,
uplifting
positive guy. But he was, I mean, I'm sure it was a mix of pain and adrenaline and like wanting to compete. And
we saw that with Stephon Diggs, so we didn't really talk about that and his emotions. Him and Josh Allen are so close, obviously, but then like, I don't think people understand. He's come under fire a little bit for how he's reacted on the sideline and then some of the stuff that's been rumored to be going on post-game. But I don't think people understand in that situation, at least I can imagine with Diggs and Allen, like those two guys are obviously so close on and off the field. Like when you're really brothers with someone like that, that shit happens. Like that's totally normal for you to go at it with a dude like that. Because if you are like that close to someone and you're both that competitive, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. It worried me a little bit, the whole locker room thing.
Yeah. See, I just don't know how much of that is true, so I don't want to speculate. But if it is true and he's just dipping out on his teammates, not a good look.
Not a good look at all. That's what I wish I knew the whole story to that, and we'll never get the full story of that. I mean,
probably not. It'll come out on some random obscure NFL podcast in like a couple months, probably. To be honest with you, someone from the locker room will want a quick, second of fame and just start speaking on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm curious about that, but that's the only thing that concerns me. Guys argue, like especially you were saying Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are so close. That's gonna happen. Like that'll happen.
Yeah, you spend enough time with someone. Shit, if you're in the same house with someone for so long, you're gonna argue with them. It just happens. It's just life. It's just dudes.
They're like brothers. Like that. You always say like your teammates are your brothers.
Yeah,
legitimately, brothers also argue.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you know.
And you.
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah, but the Chiefs, man, Jacksonville. Obviously, Jacksonville's playing some good football, but they're not the Bengals. And the Chiefs may or may not be without Patrick Mahomes. It sounds like he's going to at least try and play, but you're one weird, awkward fall away from being without Patrick Mahomes. And this team is extremely talented. Are they talented enough to do it without Mahomes under center?
No.
That's your $500 million man.
No, they can't do it with Chad Henne.
No.
I'm sorry.
I would also agree with you.
Anything
is not possible.
I know it's coming from a Michigan State fan, so I'm not the biggest Chad Henne supporter.
Yeah.
He is not the answer. But also, one-legged, basically Patrick Mahomes, one-ankled Patrick Mahomes is also not
the answer. So you're stuck with two non-answers. So do two negatives make a positive, or is that not?
I don't know what. I don't know their answer. That's the problem. Like, did you see Mahomes trying to go out like an outside stretch play?
Yeah, dude, it was
he couldn't even get out there. He had to hop out there.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you have a guy out there when he can't physically go 5 feet like laterally?
Yeah.
And hand the ball.
It was like this is a really bad analogy. It was like watching a dog when like it's gonna be put down or something. And it's like
that is a horrible analogy.
It's bad.
But
it's bad. But it's like you know what I mean. It's like it's such a helpless feeling of like, man.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it, and you just like. You know what I mean? Or like a dog. Not even a dog you got to put down. Like a dog that's hurt. And they're like that. Yeah, hobbling around. You're like, it sucks. Yeah. Like you can't do nothing about it. Or, I don't know. Like I said, I prefaced it. It's a terrible analogy. But it was a helpless feeling watching Mahomes play like that. And I don't know what type of miracle treatments they have in Kansas City or in the NFL in general. But hopefully they got something that if he does decide to play, that he can be serviceable and he more likely, can be healthy. I don't know if possible.
We don't know how bad. They said it's a high ankle sprain, which is never good to hear.
It's the most common injury in sports. It's bad.
Yeah, high ankles usually worse.
And they linger. Oh, yeah, I know. I've had some crazy high ankles.
Yeah, I've had some too. But we don't know the severity of it. Can he play? Is it to the point where, because a high ankle sprain, you can be out longer than a fracture. And when you have it real bad.
I was told that in my sophomore year of high school, I was told that it would have been better off for me to just break my ankle and recover from that as opposed to the ankle sprain that I had. My whole foot was swollen and looked like a purple bead. I don't even know what. Jelly.
So you have 4 main ligaments in your ankle, right? 2 high, like 2 low. I tore 3 out of the 4 of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, you should have just, you would have been better off just breaking your ankle.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah, let's try it out. You sprain your ankle, I'll break my ankle and see which one recovers faster.
No, I'm saying the doctor, when you met him, was you'd actually be better off breaking it. Do you mind if I just...
Oh, yeah. Now you'll be fine.
Unbearable.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. But
back to that. We don't know the severity of it until...
People will act like they do over the next couple of days as well. They'll definitely act like they do.
Yeah, but
ankle injury, not that serious. Ankle injury could be bad. Bad news.
Oh yeah, everyone will say it, and your boy Adam Schefter will probably tweet about it.
Got his ass on mute. I don't give a damn. But that's all from D1R 84. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate Jack and Arthur for joining us today. Two really good guests. We've had a lot of episodes with two guests lately. It's fun, but I gotta keep spacing these guys out, man. We gotta keep rolling content out. I don't get too much going on at once. But a lot of big things happening. Appreciate y'all for listening. Appreciate you, Trev.
Of course.